Hello everyone, it's Dina Swanson aka Giddy Girl, and I wanted to just do a flip through of my little micro mini book of spells junk journal swap for junk journal junkies. This is going to be mailed out pretty soon and I wanted to make sure I did a video of it. This little guy measures 2.5 by 3.5 inches. He's a little chunky and it has two signatures in there. And what I did is I used a macaroni and cheese cover. I was away on vacation and wanted to get started on this, and so somebody had brought macaroni and cheese for their dinner, and I said, I need that box. So it's quite funny actually. So anyways, what I did was I had Mod Podge some tissue paper on it, and then so that way it would give it some texture. And then once that was done, I glued down my elements and except for the cat. So basically, let me explain the cat what I did. So this cat came out of some ephemera from Tim Holtz, and I wanted to make him thicker because he was paper thin. So what I did was I scanned him in my brother's scanning cut. I haven't used it much. I'm not sure why because I absolutely love everything that I've done in it. And all I wanted was the outline, so that was perfect. And what I did was I scanned him in there, and once I had the outline, I cut from a thin chipboard. It's basically the chipboard that's on the back of a tablet. I cut that out 3 times and glued the three pieces together, and so that way he would, it would even out with this frame. And so I glued that down. I glued the flowers. I had a gear. I wanted to use the gear. And so, anyways, in the flowers, black gessoed everything, and then what I did was I topped it with some Lumina Art Silks acrylic glaze. It's got some purples, some greens, it's got some gold in there, and I kind of wanted to just give it a really cool lustrous look. And then what I did was I topped it off with some shimmer spray, and I added some eyelets just for some more texture. And then I found these earrings at Walmart, of all places, and I thought those are super cool. I wanted to use those, and so I added an earring on here. And anyways, what I did after I'd painted everything, I added the paper cat on top of the chipboard images. And so I didn't shimmer him. I wanted him to basically be different from the rest of the cover. And so that's the cover. I am really happy with the way this cover turned out. So use a little mixed media um, techniques on there, so that was kind of cool. So let me open it up. Um, I had gone into Tuesday morning just looking for nothing really. I never look for anything when I go to Tuesday morning. I just go down the craft aisle, and I happened to come across some vintage ephemera, and inside that it actually had it was this is by Seven Gypsies, and they also had this stuff called Vintage Market. That's not Seven Gypsies, but it has tags and ephemera. And so I used a mix of the two in here. And this particular one had some Halloween stuff in it, which was really cool. I wasn't expecting that at all. So I thought I'm totally going to use that in my little book. And so what I happened to come across was this chipboard, and I decided to make a pocket out of it. And I included some tags. And the stickers and the paper pack that you'll see in here actually came from Authentique, which I also got at Tuesday morning. So I can spend some good money in there. And then this is part of the Tim Holtz ephemera pack. Has lots in there. I got this at Michael's. It has a lot of stuff in there, so there's plenty for me to play with. I think I'm going to do a pocket letter and maybe send it to a friend and surprise her. So, anyways, I cut this is coffee paper. I actually coffee stained it. Normally, what I'll do is I will dip it in water and then I'll lay it out and dry it. I decided to kind of stack some on top of each other. I really liked how that kind of pulled together and then pulled it apart when it was almost dry. So it gave it a little bit more texture and color. So I think I'm going to start doing it that way. I did some stamping. You can barely see it, but there's some stamping there. And this is that paper I told you that's Halloween pack from Authentique. And I have some vellum envelopes in my stash. I'm gonna have to find out where I can buy that. I know I bought this quite a while ago, and I love the vellum envelopes. This was washi tape that I also found at Michael's. Isn't that cool paper? Also picked up some stickers from Michael's. I think there was like 8 in a pack or so. And what I did, instead of using it as a sticker, I went ahead and backed some cardstock on the back of it, so that way I can create a little tuck spot. A little googly eye. I got that at Dollar Tree. Did some stenciling. Again, that came from the Vintage Market ephemera pack. It's kind of a hit and miss. It's basically like a little mystery bag. And so yeah, so I had gone to 2 different stores, gotten different ones, and some of this one was in a different one that I got at a different store. So it's hit and miss. Stenciling, and this one folds out. This is a Tim Holtz. I made him into a tuck spot. I thought that was kind of cool. It's funny. He's like, "What are you doing? What do you want?" At least that's what he says to me. That's from the Vintage Market ephemera pack. I had leftover paint. I didn't want it to go to waste, so I went ahead and painted some of the coffee stain paper, and then I actually shimmered it as well. And so this is some mesh tape that I had in my stash. It's really cool to kind of just shop from my own stash, stuff that I've had for a while, and able to use it in the junk journal. So it's kind of cool. You would think that I wouldn't have to spend any more money, but not the case, right? Because you want the new stuff too. At any rate, I went ahead and folded it over. It was pretty wide. I folded it over, and it was kind of like this. I folded it in half, and then I glued it down and made pockets out of it. And then what I did was, instead of cutting off the end, I carried it over to the other page, and that created another little tuck there. This is the pocket that you saw on the front cover. This is what it looks like. And what I did was I folded it in half and made it into a little booklet. Little black cat. He's pretty cute. He's kind of whimsical. And that tucks in there. And of course, with my scraps and as tiny as this is, I can make additional tags. And there's that carryover again, another tuck spot. And then I made a pocket here, and I used my punch. Another one of those stickers. Again, from the ephemera pack that I got at Tuesday Morning. It's called Vintage Market. Lots of little journaling space on here on this little bitty guy. And then I just stapled some of the eyelash trim here as well. It's just more for decoration. Doesn't really have a purpose other than that. And I think I mentioned that this paper is authentic. Some more stamping. Washi tape. Michael's had a washi tape pack. I was lucky to go in there, and all their Halloween stuff was 60% off, so I think I kind of scored. And then here's the middle. Second signature, created a pocket. Distressed all of my edges with ink. I think it's called Black Soot from Ranger. I might have that wrong. If I do, I apologize. And I think I also used some vintage photo in here as well. Use the washi tape to have that fold out. Love the spiders. Again, another envelope, a vellum envelope that I had. Here's the flap. I used some little tiny staples. I love the staples. And then I stuffed some of that ephemera, that Tim Holtz ephemera. So tiny. I mean, these are like itty bitty. I'm not even sure what the purpose of it is, other than the fact that maybe the recipient might want to use it. So tiny I can't even pull this out. The recipient might want to use it as a label. Another sticker. So it's Legs and Toad that I use for a tuck. Again, didn't want that paint to go to waste. And I found this washi at Michael's as well. So it's either Michael's or Hobby Lobby. So, and then here's some more washi, and I cut it apart, and these are little bats. And the shimmer was kind of a happy accident. I think this is on the other side. I'm not sure that went through, so it created the speckles. It works for me. Again, ephemera, I think you saw that back over here, those guys. So I decided to make it a pocket and put some more of the little ephemera in there. And he was part of the Tim Holtz ephemera pack, so I went ahead and made him as a tuck, and put another sticker in there so she could use that wherever. I love this. I wish there was another one in the pack. I almost want to go back and buy a pack just for him. Cat's kind of peeking out. Another little staple. And then I just took some scraps and made it into a belly band, and then I made this one into a tag. It's got some eyelash trim on it. This says poison, a bat, and that's it. And this is how thick it is. Super fun to make. You know, it's amazing when you make bigger journals that it's probably just as time consuming to make these little guys. And then the fact that you have to determine what can you put in there. So, anyways, I had a lot of fun making this. Thank you, Allie Commons. It's always a joy to make these. Loving it, loving it, loving it, loving it. So that's it. Thanks for watching.